fam, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey Lee, and today we are doing the first flip through of My Abiding Journal 2021. These are going to be monthly chatty flip throughs, so we are going to be flipping through the first month of 2021, which of course is January. And if you are completely new here, hi, hello, welcome. So glad that you decided to drop by. If you want to learn more about My Abiding Journal, which essentially is my daily creative journal, I would highly encourage you to check out this video, which details what we're doing. Essentially, this is me trying to document every single day of my life, but we are doing it as a community using the hashtag MyAbidingJournal 2021 so that we can see what everybody else is creating as well. We also have a Facebook group, and I would encourage you to stay tuned until the very end of this video when I'm going to be sharing your abiding journals and some of the amazing spreads you have created so far. So I am really excited to share with you what others have been doing in their journals. But for right now, we are going to be diving into my journal and everything I've been creating. If you're curious, I also have a video all about this gorgeous cover, and it is from Documented Journey, so I have that linked in the description box, as well as my journals, and many of the supplies I use are all linked down below, so make sure you check out the description box. So when I open my journal, I have it tucked into the flap here so that you immediately just see my first entry, which of course is for January 1st. So I used some really fun floral stickers here to do January, my number stencil, and then a lot of this page is actually printables that I created for my Patreon. I'll talk a little bit more about Patreon and the printables I create later on, but these printables were specifically made for My Abiding Journal 2021. So I have the hashtag here, and I have this great Hal Elrod quote on it that says, "Writing in a journal each day allows you to direct your focus to what you accomplished, what you're grateful for, and what you've committed to doing better tomorrow. Thus, you more deeply enjoy your journey each day." So I just thought it was really fun to start out this page by documenting the fact that I'm starting this challenge or this community of My Abiding Journal. So I've used some of my printables for that, and then some stickers as well. Looks like I need to tape that one down a little bit better. It's coming up a bit. And then I have a photo of watching the movie Unbroken because Ben and I, my husband, did that day, and I did a really fun watercolor background. And then I have this little cutout from a coffee bag because for Christmas I got a bean box, and you'll see that in a few of the future entries as well, since I really enjoyed that coffee and documented it a few times here in my journal. So that is my first entry in My Abiding Journal, and if you want to learn more about this process, I actually have a video on here that happens to be a live stream, so it's a nice long video for you to watch the process come together and hang out with me and others in our community as we create this page together. Next up, we have a pretty simple spread for January 2nd, mostly using stickers, these nice big floral stickers from my Lily and Moss sticker book from Kaisercraft that I actually picked up in my first ever Tuesday morning haul that I did on my Instagram. So if you want to see that, you can check out my Instagram. It's at abiding_Kelsey Lee, and that is where I'm documenting every single page in my journal too. If you want to see more close-up photos, definitely check out my Instagram. But yeah, I basically used those stickers and this really pretty foil washi, and then my number stencil, and did my journaling in the middle here. Here on January 3rd is one of my favorite entries from the entire month. I love the layout of it and just the memories that it represents. You can see I printed a lot of little photos for this entry, and I do have a video here on my channel all about how I print out tiny photos for my journaling, and it is linked on my Creative Journaling for Beginners playlist, so I will put that up in the cards for you as well. But I really liked the layout and just the colors. These are some of my favorite stickers, and they are from this hashtag sticker book that is the pink paisley edition, and specifically it features the collections called Auburn Lane from Pink Paisley and Indigo and Ivy from Pink Paisley. So both of these really beautiful designs of stickers are in this one sticker book. So highly recommend those. And as you can see here, I did do a little tip-in of vellum over the photo of our delicious shrimp pad thai, and I just wrote down the ingredients for it so that way I can recreate the recipe later on. This next entry is very simple because it's representing my first day back to work after my extended winter break, and I did a lot of journaling, so I didn't use as much ephemera, but I really love the layout of this page, and the blues are really beautiful. I love this washi. And this piece here of the little hands on the computer is actually something I cut out from a brochure that I got from my workplace, and I talk about all of the different things that I like to save and use in my journal in a video on that Creative Journaling for Beginners playlist too. I recommend you look that one up. It's a fun one all about things that you shouldn't throw away but instead should keep and put in your journal. And then I took this journaling card and wrote The Count of Monte Cristo on it because we watched that movie this day, and I did some hand lettering of a quote from that movie, which is one of my favorites, that says, "But I don't believe in God." And then the response is, "It doesn't matter, he believes in you." So really enjoy just the whole layout of this page. I think works really well. And then I had a lot of fun creating this page for January 5th that I really focused in on my morning specifically and the coffee subscription that I've really been enjoying from Beanbox. I don't have a full subscription to it, but I was given a box of it for a gift for Christmas, so I was just really enjoying that to start my mornings and trying all the different coffees. And the box that I got from my mom was actually a coffee and chocolate pairing, so it was super good quality, and I just basically took the little description thing off of the coffee packet itself and then saved the wrapping from the chocolate bar and put them on here. Had this great perfect sticker that says, "First I drink the coffee, then I do the things." And then this piece that says "Good Morning Sunshine" is the top of the coffee packet ripped off, so I stuck that in here. And then to tie it together, I just took some craft paper from an old bag and did some stamping on that using these great coffee themed stamps that I have that I don't think have ever used before. So this was a great opportunity to get them out and use them in this way. And then I just used some washi and stickers to bring the rest of the page together. I really love the look of this page. It's very simple and powerful in its simplicity. If you are familiar at all with this day and what happened in the US on January 6th, it was when people stormed the Capitol. So here I just did some hand lettering that says, "Pray for peace and order and unity," in response to the events of that particular day. And then I also have a sticker here that says, "But thou, O Lord, art a shield for me," from Psalm 3:3. And this is from this Me and My Big Ideas Happy Planner Faith sticker book, which I highly recommend. I really love the whole aesthetic of this sticker book as well. And then this is actually a little postcard that comes with any order you make through Hosanna Revival. I talk about Hosanna Revival in my journal lineup video because I'm using a journal from them this year, and this is kind of the little card that comes with it. And I just thought it was really beautiful and fitting for this particular day. And then just used a little piece of craft paper to write out the date and used a piece of washi to do the number for the date. So simple page, but really powerful as a reflection on what was happening in current events on that day. Over here, this here at the bottom pretty much sums it up. It says, "Just an ordinary day." And I just used some pretty stickers to decorate the page, did my date at the top and a little bit of journaling, and that was all the page needed. So it just goes to show that there are lots of regular, ordinary days in my journaling, but you can still have fun with them and make them pretty, or you can be totally simple and just do straight journaling. There are no rules here, and when you're doing creative journaling, you do have to always remember that not every day is going to be a huge highlight. You're gonna have ordinary days, And so if you want to document them, you have to be creative in how you do that, or you just have to simply be okay with not every day being a masterpiece of a page. This day here was a Friday, so I have a little Friday sticker, and I really loved the way that this page turned out as well. I used this big journaling card, which was so fun because if you see my journal lineup video where I talk about using this new Moleskine Cahiers extra large journals, I talk about how I can finally use these big journaling cards that I've had for a long time, but never fit in the smaller journals I had been using. So I've really been enjoying getting to play with some of the bigger ephemera and pieces that I have that I just simply could never fit in my smaller journals when I was using those. And then this page is really fun for me because I used this really cool ribbon that has like this metallic on it, and it's a little movie strip. And this actually came as part of the little gift basket that my husband happened to win from his work. It was like a movie themed gift basket with candies and popcorn and then a little Redbox gift card. But of course, the thing that I was most excited about in the entire gift basket was the ribbon that came around it, because I thought, ooh, I can save that and use it in my journal. And I definitely did. And I actually added the letters to spell out movie using just my Arteza white gel pen. And then I just wrote out movie night. We watched Catch Me If You Can on this day, and it was my first time I had ever seen it, and I was kind of blown away because I really, really enjoyed it. And I couldn't believe that nobody had told me about this movie since it had been out for so long. So I just kind of journaled about that and journaled a little description of the movie, and then this here is a receipt from the takeout that we got on that night as well. Over here is one of my favorite aesthetics for a page as well. I just really liked the layout of this one and just the little colors and details on it. So I have this really pretty frame in the middle, framing a picture of our Christmas tree, and then have our Christmas decorations here, because this was the day that I took down all of the Christmas decorations. And since I'm not positive that we will still be in this same place next year, I wanted to make sure that I at least had how I decorated for Christmas documented, because I think that's always really fun to reflect on, especially if you're not going to be in that house necessarily long term. This is our first home together, so I think it'll be special to be able to look back and remember our first Christmases together in that way. And then my husband made us brunch on this day, so I have a little photo of our brunch. And yeah, I just really love the whole look of this page. This actually is probably my favorite part of the page, is just this really simple little journaling card that I added the date to in some pretty little hand lettering, and of course the number there with a washi strip. This page is one where I have a journal with me here on my channel, so I will link the playlist to my Abiding Journal With Me playlist, where you can check out all of the journal with me's that I am creating in 2021. I will link that up in the cards for you as well. But essentially, you can go and watch that to learn more about this page and this day. But the overview is that we went on a hike on this day, and I did this fun little watercolor illustration for that, and enjoyed some good Mexican food, went to church, and that pretty much wraps up that day. And then this entry over here is actually probably one of my favorites because I love the use of the negative space. It's something I really struggle with. I tend to like to add a lot to the page, as you're seeing, but I do love the look of simplicity. And so this is one of my favorite entries because it captures that simplicity. It's one where I didn't go overboard. And I love the stickers. This one here is from Documented Journey, the same woman, Bree, who makes these amazing covers for your traveler's notebooks. She also is a great artist and does really neat stickers. So I put that on here. And then just my date and a few stickers, like this cute quote that says, "Can we start the weekend over again? I wasn't ready," which totally represented my feelings on this particular Monday. I was not feeling the return to work on this day. Over here, again, one of my favorite layouts because of the simplicity. I love the look of this journaling just running down the entire page with this break in the middle. To me, this has the feeling of like a gallery wall, and just the way that the stickers kind of look like framed photos in a way, and just the whole way that this is layered and organized with the washi and stickers and stenciling and words just really works for me. So I love the look of this, and it also really represents the day well, because on this particular day I did some writing, and I also met with a fellow alumna of my alma mater who is interested in becoming an author, and so I was just talking to her about writing. So this idea of letting your dreams blossom, and then this one that says dream, create, inspire, repeat, I thought worked really, really well, because of it also being a day where I was able to inspire somebody else to pursue their dreams of writing too. If you're not familiar, I am an author as well. Little known fact, because I'm not great at promoting myself, partly because I am very behind in getting my third book out. But if you're interested, I do have my books linked down below in the description box of all of my videos, so you can check them out if you're interested in YA, historical fiction, and fantasy. And then over here is kind of a day where I was trying to represent just the feeling of needing some rest and peacefulness and really slowing down in my life. I just have been having kind of a glum January. I think that's pretty typical of this time of year, just because of the weather. It's really cold outside, and especially with certain restrictions and stuff, it's hard to be able to get out and just really take care of your mental health. So this was a day where I felt like I really needed some mental health. So I had a nice evening to myself of reading, and I made sure to light a candle and cuddle up with a cozy blanket. And I just did this fun watercolor illustration using my metallic watercolors from Arteza. If it's picking up okay. As you can see there, it just has a really beautiful metallic sheen. So I just kind of did this lavender illustration in the background using the Arteza metallic watercolors, and I do have a video about the Arteza metallic watercolors if you want to look that up here on my channel. And these two, I should mention, are all illustrations from my self-care set that is available on my Patreon as well. So these are self-care themed printables that I created and are available for anybody who joins my Patreon. Here on the 14th, because I had done the watercolor on this page and there was a little bit of shadowing, I decided to also do some painting on this page too to kind of mask that. And for this one, I used my Arteza Iridescent paints, which has a super cool shimmer effect. I'm definitely going to be playing with these again in the future. Just crazy fun. The camera does not even do it justice. It is so much fun in real life. And this one, again, I got to use a nice big journaling card to take up lots of room, but I really like the way I embellished it to add the date on it. Everything else came on it. It has this really neat stitching effect on it. It was already like that, including with this tag, but I just added the date and the little Thursday sticker. And then here is just my journaling over top with some washi, kept it very simple. But I also added this cute little ephemera piece of the phone that then says, call your mother, because on this day I had called my mom after probably not talking to her since Christmas, not because of any issues or anything, just because time kind of got away from us. So it was really nice to catch up with her on that day. And then here on this Friday, I helped host a creative art night at our church where people could gather and work on their Lent submissions, because we create a little Lent guide with artwork from our church members that we give out every year through our church. And so it was gathering people together to make art, and we were all masked and distanced, but it was really nice to gather nonetheless and create together. And I really like the way that this page turned out. And a lot of it is using these fun Crafter Noon stickers and ephemera pieces. This page is another example of me experimenting with paints in my journal. This time I was playing with what are called pearlescent, I think, acrylic paints from Arteza. And I did this fun little scene. I was trying to be really, really loose in the painting. I did this all with a palette knife because I wanted to get away from my perfectionism. That can definitely be quite the hindrance for me. So I just used a palette knife to do this using those paints. And then I did go over it a little bit with some Prismacolor pencils, and then a black pen to add in the birds. And then again, used that same top of the coffee bag to do the Good Morning Sunshine, some washi tape, a bag, and on this bag I wrote, I wouldn't necessarily call it a poem that I wrote, but I've recently been reading Mary Oliver's poetry, which, if you're not familiar, she is a poet, or was a poet. She actually passed away not too long ago, who did a lot of nature writing poetry, and so I've been very inspired by her lately. And as I was sitting on my deck in the cold with my hot coffee on a nice, beautiful, sunny morning, I was looking out over this little kind of patch of field right in front of our house, and all of these beautiful birds were bathing in yesterday's rain puddles. So I kind of came up with this little poem to myself that says, "Sometimes you need quiet mornings, crisp air, warm coffee, and the knowledge that he cares for the birds bathing in yesterday's puddles. How much more then must he care for you?" So I don't know if you necessarily can call that a poem, but that's what I kind of wrote as I reflected on that. And that just goes to show that not every entry needs to represent exactly what you did that entire day. Sometimes your entry can just be reflecting on a really simple moment from that day, like watching birds bathe in a puddle. It doesn't have to be always a big event or even a recollection of every single thing you did in a day. Sometimes you can just pick one special little moment or event from that day and make your whole journal entry about that. And if I'm not mistaken, I did film this, so this may be a journal with me coming at you pretty soon here in the future. Over here is a really simple layout where I just talked about having the place to myself and doing some art while Ben was away. And he actually went to New York on this day and brought back this really cool sticker from where he went. So I put that on here, and then underneath I have a little note from Brie of Documented Journey, because she had sent me this cover as well as another cover that I gave away. Unfortunately, that giveaway is now over, but it was super fun, and so this day was just kind of documenting that giveaway and how excited people were about it, which was super fun, and just kind of how much our community has been really enjoying my abiding journal has been really fun for me. So I just journaled about that on this day. On the 18th, it was Martin Luther King Jr. Day here in the US, and I really took time to reflect on this more deeply than I certainly have in the past, I must admit. So I just really was watching some of his speeches on this day and picking out, some articles and things to read about his legacy, and it really got me interested, especially as a woman of faith. It really encouraged me to maybe find a book about Martin Luther King Jr. or something to help me to understand his faith and his legacy even more deeply, and how he really did such a phenomenal job of holding both faith and action and mercy at the same time, and justice is really incredible to me. I think it's something a lot of Christians, frankly, struggle with, including myself. So it's something I would like to learn more about, and on this day I just wrote a prayer that he spoke at that time, and I think it says a lot when a prayer that he was writing about his time that we kind of consider sometimes as being over, right? Segregation no longer exists. He overcame it is kind of the narrative that we often have, but the truth is that the prayer that he prayed could easily be applicable to today, and so that really resonated with me. And then I have a little quote that I selected from his "I've Been to the Mountaintop" speech, which is super powerful. Highly recommend you watch it. And I did that on this great journaling card that I have of mountains with these foil accents. And then I did also have a nice little tea on this day, so I used the wrapper for that, and then did some of my journaling inside of it on a tag. Here is another great example of the kinds of days that are often filling our daily journals, which are just blah days where you don't even want to get up from the couch. So when I have people telling me that they would love to journal, but they just don't know what to write about, and they don't have anything exciting happening in their lives, this is my automatic response to them. I have an entire entry in my journal about lying on my couch with an illustration of my couch in it and a giant journaling card that just says sigh. So it goes to show you that my life is not any more special than yours to warrant having a daily journal. But it's about finding the joys and the special moments in the ordinary. That is what doing a daily journal achieves. It helps you to recognize all of the really beautiful blessings that fill our everyday lives. And as my little quote here at the bottom says, sometimes it's okay to do nothing. So I hope that this entry is an encouragement to you if you are somebody who says they can't journal because their life is too boring. It's okay. All of our lives are pretty boring and ordinary when it comes down to it. This next entry documents Inauguration Day, and if you watched the US inauguration at all, you might recognize this illustration of Amanda Gorman, who is the youngest US poet laureate, I think is the right way to explain that. And she is a really powerful, wonderful speaker and orator. And she did this fantastic poem on Inauguration Day called The Hill We Climb. So I did a quote from The Hill We Climb here, just using some really simple monoline hand lettering. And then her jacket here is really fun because it's actually made out of washi tape. I don't know if you can really see how that is the case, but it's just little strips of washi tape that I cut out and sort of just put together to form a jacket. And then I did a little illustration of her using my Prismacolor pencils. I really struggled to get her face right. I originally was thinking that I would just do a blank face, kind of like the cool Pretty Beloved, I think, Society girls. Is that what it's called? Beloved Society girls from Illustrated Faith are just these really cute, very simple illustrations of girls without faces. But when I did it, I felt like it looked like Slender Man or something, or like I was trying to caricature somebody who, you know, I think was really powerful, and I didn't want it to come across that way. So I ended up adding a face, but faces are definitely not my strength. So I struggled a little bit with proportions, and noses are the worst for me, but I did have fun drawing it nonetheless, and I'm happy with how it ultimately turned out. And then on the inside, I just did some journaling about the inauguration and kind of praying over our new president. I am not somebody who cares for politics at all, if I'm being honest, but I think it's important to always pray and hope for the best from our new president, whoever that may be, however you feel about it. And then at the bottom here, I did just talk a little bit about the Bernie memes because I think that's a funny trend that will be interesting to reflect on a few years from now, or if I ever have kids looking at this journal and be like, Bernie memes, what are you talking about? And trying to explain the little phenomenon that was. And then to balance that out, I have a very simple page, just using the same paper, the same washi tape that I used for her jacket, and a few stickers with very simple journaling. I actually spaced it out a little bit more too, so that I didn't have to write as much, because this was just a very simple day. This one here is mostly documenting a snowy run that I went on with my dog Jeannie, and I do have a live stream journal with me here on my channel for this entry, so you can go and watch that to see how it came together and hang out with us. And then on this page, it's a little bit crowded, but I do like it because of how special and wonderful this day was. My parents came over and we had Italian wedding soup, and I rolled about 1,000 little meatballs, which was quite the task, but it was a really fun thing to do. I had never made Italian wedding soup before, and I kind of made up the recipe, and it turned out really well, so I was happy with it. And then we played our favorite family game, which is Mexican Train, dominoes, and just had a really nice evening together. So I really enjoy this page, mostly because of the memories associated with it. On this day after church, we went to find a snowy owl that had happened to come into our area, And indeed, we did find it. It was pretty easy to find because there was a whole entourage of photographers and bird watchers already watching it. And it was kind of just sitting in a field and was really easy to see. So that was pretty neat. These photos, I have to admit, are not mine. One of the nice wildlife photographers there with a much better zoom lens than mine was able to send them to me, which was very kind. But I did use here an illustration from one of my printables, which was super fun to be able to use. And then this paper is actually part of a soap wrapping because I picked up some soap from an organization that came to our church on this day. It's called Soaps by Survivors, and basically women who are stuck in human trafficking and are saved from that by this organization make soaps to keep promoting that organization and sell them, and this is a way of them, you know, getting donations. So I did buy a few bars of soap from Soaps by Survivors, and I just took the wrapping from that and used it here in my journal because I thought it was a pretty pattern, and then used it down here as well. This is a very, very simple entry just with washi and some stickers documenting a pretty ordinary work day. I went for a run on this day as well. And then this is actually just an illustration that I printed out from the internet when I was looking up work from home illustrations. And so I put that on there. This day I basically documented a book that I had finished listening to on my Libby app, which I highly recommend you check out. Support your local library and download the Libby app, and you can access tons of ebooks and audiobooks for completely free through your library. It is awesome. So I read The War That Saved My Life by Kimberly Brubaker Bradley, and I really enjoyed it. And I basically just picked a few ephemera pieces and did a little illustration of symbols and items in that book that would help remind me what the book was about, and then just journaled a little bit about the book here as well. So I really enjoyed the way that that turned out. Over here, I documented putting together and sending out Happy Mail for my patrons, and so I just have some really fun colors on this page and did some hand lettering for Happy Mail. And I really do love the way that this turned out, even though it was very simple and quick to put together. Here is just an ordinary day as well, but I just thought there were some fun little moments in this day, like Ben very kindly bringing me bubble tea in the middle of my day, and it was a long day of writing for work, so I had this fun little illustration that says finding the words you were looking for after writing about 10 different communications on this day. And then it was super windy, so I have this cute little illustration of hearing the wind blowing while you're inside. And we watched Hillbilly Elegy on Netflix on this day. That was a super, super good movie. Highly recommend that. And yeah, I just did this illustration for the bubble tea. So I really love the way that this turned out. Represents some fun little moments from that day. And then this entry over here, friends, is definitely my favorite one from the entire month of January. And it features a lot of my newest printables that I just posted at the end of January on my Patreon page. So if you are interested in getting some of these really cute illustrations, they are from my Tiny Little Pleasures collection is what I called it. And essentially I asked my patrons to tell me what their favorite little things in life are. And so they submitted things like a London fog latte or seeing your breath fog in the cold. And then I took those ideas and turned them into illustrations. And it's great because a lot of them are things that I think we all love in some way or bring about happy memories and ideas. So I think these illustrations can really be used by anyone. I really love the way that they turned out. And I'll put them on the screen here so that you can see them as well in their entirety beyond the few that I put here on the page. But if you're interested in getting these, as well as all of the other printables that I've showed you throughout my journal so far, I've used quite a few of my printables here because I make things that I personally enjoy using and I think that you'll enjoy too. And that is one of the best ways to support my channel even more beyond liking and subscribing and joining the Abiding family here is to go a step further and join my Patreon page And as the biggest thank you for your support, I give you bonuses in return, like access to these printables, and also you get early access to all of my YouTube videos, or at least most of them when I get them done in time. And I also put out an exclusive video every month for my $6 tier and up. So you can join for as little as $2 a month if you just want to get the mini printable and early access to videos. But if you want even more content, you can join the $6 tier. And so for the price of a cup of coffee, you can help me out hugely and get some fun journaling content in return. So I will have that linked in the description box. It's patreon.com/abidingkelseylee, and I would absolutely love to have you join our community. I'm currently working towards my next goal, which is 100 patrons, and when I hit that goal, I'm going to finally start creating merch, and I'm really excited about the prospect of getting to put some of my designs on products for you guys, like mugs and t-shirts. So if you want to help me towards that goal, I would love to have you join. But essentially this page is mostly just using those illustrations. All of these are those illustrations. Plus I put this really pretty paper behind it that has kind of like a sweater look to it, which I thought was perfect for this very cozy vibe I was going for. And then I did some stenciling with my gelatos here as well. So I have a whole video documenting this page too that I'll be sharing on how I created this page with you at some time here in the near future, but I wanted to tell you in the meantime how you can get access to these fun little illustrations. And when you join, you get access to not only my most recent illustrations, but everything I've ever published, plus whatever I put out that month. And then our last 2 days here, friends, for January, we have a very kind of scattered Saturday page. I wasn't loving this at all when I was creating it. I was really struggling with placement of things, and a lot of these things were pasted somewhere else, and then I was trying to pick them up and put them elsewhere on the page. I just was struggling, basically, in creating this page, but I am decently happy with how it ultimately turned out. It's a little busy and not, I don't know, just the vibe of it isn't exactly what I was going for, but it's okay. The memories are down. The pieces of it are good. These are all from my printables as well. These are from the Abiding Journal collection. And then this is a really fun illustration, not my own, but I thought it was a fun one to include to document going on a walk with my dog. And then just used some washi and some gelatos again to do the backgrounds. Now, I did these 2 pages in the same night, so I went from really struggling in creating this page to making a page that is another one of my favorites, and I'm very happy to be ending on this one for January, documenting my snowy Sunday on January 31st, and I just love the look of this page. I did a nice gelato background so that it kind of all melds together with the layering over here with the washi tape, this fun little cutout from my Tiny Little Pleasures Flow magazine calendar that I had from quite a few years ago, and then a cute photo of Ben and me in the snow, and then just a few little stickers that are, you know, winter themed with the mittens and the hat and the boots. And then here at the bottom is just a big journaling card that I went ahead and wrote out the recipe for my Thai curry carrot soup that I created, and had a picture of the soup over here. Super delicious, and I really, really love the way that this page turned out. So friends, that is every entry so far in my Abiding Journal, 31 days thus far, and I am so grateful for you for sticking through with me until the very end. This is very chatty, very real, and just getting down in the journal together, but I know I personally really enjoy long, chatty flip-through videos, so I hope that you do too. If this isn't your thing, then you've probably stopped watching already anyhow, so that's quite okay. And yeah, that is my journal so far, friends. So make sure that you are subscribed, join the Abiding fam, and let me say that it is not too late to ever start journaling, period, but it's also not too late to start joining in the fun with my Abiding Journal 2021. If this interests you at all, I encourage you to pick up a journal, start using your pens and stickers and whatever else you want to use in it. Document your memories, explore your creativity, and share it with us using the hashtag MyAbidingJournal2021, because you guys truly inspire me just as much as you think I may inspire you. I promise you, you are returning it 1,000-fold. So I'm so grateful for that. So for those of you who have been participating, I'd love for you to leave a comment down below letting me know kind of what you've learned so far in this first month of daily journaling. Or just let me know what your favorite entry was in this journal or any questions you have. Basically, let's just hang out and chat and get to know each other a little better in the comments. I will meet you down there. One of the things I've been most looking forward to about doing My Abiding Journal 2021 in a community is getting to feature and share some of the amazing creativity you all have been sharing, which is why I am going to have a portion at the end of all of these chatty flip-throughs for each month where I share some of your journal entries that you've been sharing on Instagram using the hashtag MyAbidingJournal2021, or in our Facebook group if you add it to our album. I have an album on there since it's a private Facebook group where you can give me permission to share the photos that you add to that album publicly. So let's take a look at some of the entries you all have created in your abiding journals.
And we just sing along, and I can't help but feeling, just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? Forever. Forever. Forever.
Seriously, fam, I cannot express to you how much I have loved seeing all of you using the hashtag, and just your posts in the Facebook group are so warm and encouraging to each other, and we truly have the best journaling community here, hands down. I'm so grateful for all of you. So keep using that hashtag, join the Facebook group, keep sharing, because even if you don't think it's the best page ever, I promise you that you are inspiring somebody else. So friends, with all of that said, keep exploring your abiding creativity and document a life abiding in faith, hope, and love.